Welcome to Spirited Straight Talk, the podcast to help you thrive with the help of spirit. I'm Deb Shepard, psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and author. Each week, I bring new insights to help you heal from loss, connect with spirit, and turn setbacks into triumphs. So let's get started. Would you like to use and trust your intuition so your life can be magical? Your body is talking to you, but are you listening? This is what we're going to go in today and talk about how your senses, your body, is the biggest radar for your intuition and how we can utilize that, listen to it, and take care of it. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Our body is the vehicle while we're here on earth going through our lessons. Earth is our spiritual school with all the lessons we're here to learn. And
we're little antennas walking around.
We are little antennas walking around. And it's hard. Sometimes it's difficult. And if you've listened to any of the other podcasts, we talk about intuition and trust and surrender and all those type of things. Yet we haven't talked about the vehicle that you are in, the soul. And of course, another movie that I love is Soul by Pixar, the little soul that comes down here reluctantly to experience
22.
life. 22. If you haven't seen it, please do. It's one I highly recommend. It takes trust and practice over and over and over to get to understand how this all works. But you were born with your own GPS system. You were born with a guided psychic system that our body is high-wired to pay attention to. And our cars today, with technology, cars have a GPS system. Not that we always listen to the GPS, right? When we, want to go somewhere, we'll argue with it. And that's what we do with our current vehicles. But when we don't listen to our body, our suit, our vehicle, it ends up affecting us in multiple ways. If you are over the age of 50, barely, you've taken a road trip probably. And even if you're not, if you are, 25 years old and you said, I'm going to go, drive to see so-and-so, or I'm going to go to the mountains, I'm going to the ocean, wherever, you pack your car, you get it ready, you make sure the tires are good, there's an oil change, everything is tuned up. So you have a safe travel. You want to make sure that vehicle can take you all the way.
Without breaking down
in the middle of nowhere. Even in somewhere, just the cost involved. This is what I'm talking about. I want you to relate your vehicle, your car, your truck, whatever it is, to your body and understanding that we're going to mirror the two of them. So we're traveling in this human suit and we don't always like it. I always think, why did I choose this one? Shouldn't I have chosen something a little, maybe, a staying in line, like, oh, you're in the back of the line. Your number is way back there. You get to have what's last here in the bins.
Oh my gosh.
I love referring to movies because I think it tells us so many stories. I mean, you look at creativity, storytelling, books, but, movies is one of my go-tos. And the Field of Dreams movie with Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones and a bunch of other great actors in there. He's in Iowa. And
Ray Liotta's in that one, I think, and he just passed.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Was that his dad? I think was his dad.
He played his dad. Yeah,
that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. He's really on the other side now. Oh, sorry, that was really bad.
But he is.
Humor, yeah. He's really in the Field of Dreams. But in the movie, and it was released in April 1989. So again, I think you were barely born, but I was alive and kicking well. But if you haven't seen
I was
the movie,
graduating high school. Thank you very much.
Still, baby. But with that said, he lives in Iowa with his wife and child, and he is hearing a voice that says, I think it says, if you build it, he will come.
He will come, yeah.
Not they, he.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I actually looked that up just to make sure, because I was getting him like, I want to make sure I quote it correctly. He will come. Here he is in the middle of Iowa. I'm sure it's very slow paced if you think about it. There isn't probably a lot of psychics around talking to dead people, right? It's pretty much, the farmer.
Kevin Costner and a field.
But he is getting this image of building this baseball field. And his wife is all for it, which is great because she's not the critic. She is definitely cheering him on. Yeah, go for it, do it. And they're trying to pay their bills. They're going to lose their house. I think the wife's brother is in the mortgage and trying to, all that kind of stuff. So there's just a lot of pushback. But everything in his soul tells him he needs to build this, that there's going to be some peace with this, even though he doesn't understand it. And that's where our body can feel things. We feel this overwhelming sense of something, and our body may tingle or vibrate to a different, that's the word we sort of use sometimes, is vibrating to a sadness or a happiness. We feel these things. And we can see it with children, especially because they're not told, don't feel that. We have these radars. Our whole body is that radar. And so he trusted that process. And even though people thought he was crazy in town, he still thought, I have to do this. And the great thing about your intuition and your guides, when you're doing something and get this random idea, I think this is what I need to do, or this is what I feel I need to do. We need that validation. When we don't get the validation, we don't always trust it. But if you're really listening, you will find those validations along the way. And in this story, he finally gets a validation from James Earl Jones. He was in hibernation because he was a writer and he had people bugging the heck out of him. So he didn't want anyone to find him. But with that, James Earl Jones, that character, he saw what Kevin Costner saw. And they were able to go on this adventure together and find the magic. And what we like to talk about is not just a tool bag, but the magic bag. We want to have a magic bag that says how powerful and how we can become empowered and how we can change our life. Going back to that is understanding our vehicle again. It's honoring the vehicle that is giving us this data and information and how to follow it. And what we do is we dismiss it or don't take care of it. When we look at a car, it needs fuel, or now these days, electricity, which is really darn cool. How are we taking care of our body? How are we fueling our soul and our body? How are we taking care of it? What are we putting in our mind and in our heart and in our thoughts? What people are around us that are feeding our body and our soul? Are we getting people around us that are negative and, putting us down and telling us our ideals are horrible and causing us stress and anxiety? So how are you fueling your soul? How are you fueling your body? Are you getting massages? Are you taking yourself walks, taking hot baths? How are you feeding yourself? Now, please don't be a critic and say, I need to stop eating, popcorn and my flat vegetables, which I call other people call them potato chips. Yeah, now I call them flat vegetables because that's a better name. But we don't want to ignore it. So going back to the vehicle again, if you feel like your car is not starting the first time, you're going to pay attention to that. Is it the battery? Do I need to take it in? Is it pulling left or right? Meaning, does it need to have the front aligned? Is there something wrong with the tires? Is it making an odd noise? And I don't know I do know this with you, maybe not with other people though. For some reason, when I have the car washed, doesn't the car feel better energetically?
Yeah.
So again, how are we nurturing ourselves? What are we saying to ourselves? How are we taking care of our bodies? Are we doing things to say, I need to take care of this? The other thing, when you look at vehicles, there's a lot of rules. Not everyone can just go drive a car. So there are some criteria.
Rules of the road.
The other thing with the vehicle is we have to stay in our own lane.
Your favorite saying.
My favorite saying. So if you ever join my mentoring program, it's one of the first things everyone learns is stay in your own lane. We have a tendency to want to take care of everybody else, and we exhaust ourselves to the point that we collapse and there's nothing left to take care of ourselves. If all of us didn't have the rules of the road, we would all crash.
And burn,
basically. So when we compare our lives, are you staying in your lane? It is really mirroring what's going on in your life, because it's safe when we all listen to the rules of the road.
I like that analogy.
Thank you. The stop sign. There are so many times we do not stop. And being from California, I'm not living there now, but being from California, we used to call it the California stop. And we've seen friends do this. They don't really stop. They just continually go through the stop sign, make the right turn, whatever. There's
look right, look left, real fast and go.
And they're actually looking before they get there. Are you taking time to stop and pause? Are you taking time to stop and meditate? Are you stopping to look around to see what is truly going on? Are you just passing through life? So if your guides are trying to give you signs and you're driving really fast with your body and your mind, you're not going to see the signs that your guides are trying to give to you. So stop, look both ways, take a deep breath. Yeah. And I know for you, if you're at a stoplight and it turns green, you pause because you've been in an accident where people have run red lights. And that's also another analogy. Are people crossing your boundaries? Are they running right over you? Are they just powering through and just crush you and you feel like you're being impacted and put down and ran over, if that's happening in your life, then maybe it's time to take a pause and look to see what's coming your way. Focus, what's showing up, what's leaving you behind. The other thing is we have an insurance policy for our cars. It's illegal not to have insurance for our cars.
Yeah.
But do we do anything to insure our own self? Do we take time to put on the calendar? I know I'm going to have some stressful times. I need to make sure I get a massage or I get a pedicure or whatever.
Whatever, yeah. Whatever
to be
fuels you.
Connected to Mother Earth or be out with friends and have some laughter. The other part with that, we don't have to look at, I have a stressful week, so I'm going to plan something for myself. Why not do it ahead of time? We don't buy an insurance policy because we know we're going to have an accident. We have an insurance policy knowing that if anything happens, we're reassured we're okay. When it comes to our bodies, we don't do things to make sure that it's going to be okay going through whatever shows up in life. If someone runs that red light, someone impacts us, are we ensured that we've got something to land on, that magic bag?
So maybe that's why we took weeks off at the beginning of the year too, because we know the second half could be crazy.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot. And
good.
And intuitively people go, how are you doing? We're like, well, I'm really busy, but we can get really burnt out. We can burn the candle at both ends. And we hear this all the time. So if you're looking for a balanced life, do you have your insurance policy ahead of time to say, I've got some things planned. They're marked on the calendar and that's your stop sign. That's staying in your lane. You don't need to tell people that you're doing this and say, I cannot do this for you. You can say, I've already got things scheduled. And that's your insurance policy. Growing up, we didn't have seatbelts. Kids we were flung around everywhere. We're just like flung across the car.
The cars were like tanks.
They were tanks.
That day.
Yeah. And people
they were actually metal.
They were metal. They weren't plastic and things like that. So yeah, a little bit safer. But I even remember sleeping in the back seat where the window was, came down. I mean, we think about safety now. There's no way we'd put our grandkids or anyone else. But the idea of seatbelts to me for the metaphor for today is, do we feel safe where we are? Are we safe? Are we creating a safe environment that where we are feels comfortable? And the big thing is, where are you sitting in the car? Do you feel like you always have to be in control? If you're wanting to communicate with your guides,
I'm slowly raising my hand
because we don't have a visual. It's hard. And I don't really drive very much. You do most of the driving and I'm okay with that. Well, I have to be right.
You have to be, but you don't like driving.
No, I really don't. I don't enjoy it. But I also think we can look at it. Where do you want to sit in the car? If you always have to be the driver, do you feel like you have to always be in control, meaning that you don't feel safe or you don't trust? If you are in the passenger or in the back seat, are you telling the driver always what to do, where to go? Even though you have a GPS and you've been there several times or whatever the situation is, when you're in that car,
you have to boss the driver.
Are you relaxing? Are you listening? Are you paying attention to the surroundings? Are you, when people
looking
take
for signs?
Yeah, exactly. When you're a kid or when you're taking a road trip, whatever age that is, are you looking out the window or are you on your phone? I mean, today we allow kids, which I'm not against this. I'm not shaming anybody, but kids have a screen. So they're watching screens versus, what's going on around them. We begin to get trained not to pay attention to our surroundings, and the universe is talking to us all the time. So if you feel like, I want to hear my guides, but I have to be the driver and I have to be in control, and to everyone, GPS is telling me this. But we've done this where the GPS is saying for us to go a different direction. And we've said, well, no, I want to go this way. And we end up, there's construction or traffic, whatever. Yeah. GPS said,
go this way.
So again, are you trusting the process or do you feel like you always know what's right? Yeah. I could go into the radio too. Like, what are you listening to? What's the distractions? Are you listening to things that are motivational? Are you talk radio that might be negative or overbearing or you want to argue with? Or is it something that's uplifting and helps support your journey and your soul? So again, isn't this kind of cool to look at our vehicle compared to when we're driving? And we don't look at ourselves as our bodies as this vehicle. And doing
or an antenna vehicle,
all those things.
Above, yeah.
Doing this work for over 2 decades, I know our soul is not the body. So when people come, they miss the body.
Come to see you for a session.
To talk to their loved ones. The soul is all intact. It's the body and soul, the connection. But when we don't take care of the body, it cannot host our soul. And there's so many times where a loved one will come through and talk about, I wish I would have taken care of myself better. I could have been here more. I wish I would have, done these things. And when you look at the rules of the road, it really goes along with, are we staying in our lane? Are we taking care of, all the parts that are making noises in our body? Are we listening to our body that's talking to us?
And you're not a subscriber of it was supposed to happen this way, or
correct.
That's one of the big things that you teach and share with all of your followers, is that you're not a huge subscriber and it was meant to be.
Correct. People say, well, everything happens for a reason.
That's the term I was thinking of. Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Do I think that we can make a purpose from what happened? Absolutely. I've had a lot of losses from loved ones that died from suicide. So one of my platforms is talking about mental health and taking care of your body, your mental health, all those organs.
Causes.
Yeah, my causes. So do I think that they were supposed to suicide? Absolutely not. I think there's choices and free will. When we take care of our vehicle and understand our consciousness and our soul's purpose, and all that becomes aligned, it's a vehicle that runs very, very well. And that's why today we hear about mindfulness. 30 years ago, mindfulness was not a term. People like me were in the closet. Literally in the closet. Now being with a woman, we were literally in the closet. So it's understanding how we take care of ourselves and we don't beat ourselves up, and we take care of the vehicle. There are so many people that their vehicles have just so much value. They put so much money into them, and that's fine. That's their hobby. That's what their passion is. That's great. But what do we do with our own selves? What do we do for that? When someone says, oh yeah, my car, I need to get new tires, or the front end aligned, or it needs to have, a tune-up, we don't think twice. We don't want to always spend the money. But if you say to somebody, you know what, I'm going to go spend a few $100s and buy myself some clothes and shoes and, have a kind of a makeover, you're like, what? Why? We have to figure out, well, I deserve it, or I have a new job, or I'm trying something. We have to give a purpose why we do it versus this is your vehicle. And if your vehicle wants some new shoes and some clothing, and it's going to make you feel good, like we talked about the car that gets
Let's go shopping.
Let's go shopping, because there is a high with it. Taking care of the car, it feels safe if you have everything tuned up and things are working and they're properly in order, and you've had the mechanic check it all out. You feel safe taking that road trip. Do you feel safe in your body to take this road trip that you're on in this life? Yeah. Do you feel like when you get up every day, like, I'm ready to take this on. I'm ready to take on my fear. I'm ready to take on my challenges. Yeah, I've got my magic bag and I've got a way to fill it up, and I'm going to stop and smell the coffee and the roses. Are we taking
running a rat race?
Yeah. Look at the windshield. If you look about having clarity in your life, when you get a ding, Colorado is known for getting dings in the window because they put down a lot of rocks down when it snows. It's annoying. And then you see it spreading. And we have here, sometimes at gas stations, go fix the chip. We are willing to do that because it's very annoying. How about when the windshield wipers aren't working properly? We sometimes feel like, I just can't see clearly. Well, what are we not looking at? What are we not seeing? Are we not taking care of our surroundings? Are we not stopping along the way? Or are we going through the stop sign? Or perhaps the yellow light that's ready to turn red just to get through something because we're done putting up the barrel through it. Are you the person that likes to control and stay in the power? Colorado has a lot of big vehicles and they like to go fast. And if you have a small car, how hard it is to feel safe. And we've gone through this where you feel like you're in a smaller vehicle, you're watching around you. Yeah. So think about your vehicle. Do you feel like you're in your power? Do you feel like you're strong enough to deal with anyone that wants to overpower, cut you off, crush your boundaries, tell you to step back, get in the back of the line, or whatever that looks like? You like this? Dean's giving me this big smile about, oh, no,
I like this stuff.
You want your body to run smoothly because it is your biggest antenna connected to the universe. It is your biggest communicator ever. It has a radar that not only goes around the planet, but through the universe. It connects with aliens or whatever. People are laughing about how we connect we have these big telescopes like the James Webb telescope. Your body has the same ability. Maybe it can't take pictures of those galaxies, but we can connect on all these different levels and vibrations and energies if we are allowing ourselves to go there.
That's cool.
Your vehicle, depending on what you're driving physically in the earth world, how far can that vehicle take you? So when you go purchase a car, you're thinking about your needs and how big the gas tank is. What are you filling that gas tank with, and how long is it going to take you to get from point A to point B? And that is the same thing with our bodies. How are we fueling it to get to point A to point B? And you and I know before we have to deal with something energetically, we get your mindset to say, we have to deal with something really difficult. We find a way to fill up that energy so we're able to get to point A to point B. So paying attention, that's that insurance policy. What do you have that is going to help you get there and get to the destination? And the part of this journey is not looking at the end result, which we talk about all the time. It really is the process and paying attention, because if you truly are present and you're listening to your vehicle and your soul and your heart, the universe will communicate and maybe take you in a direction that is completely different than you ever anticipated. And it will be bigger and better than you imagined. That happened to me. People ask me, how did you start this journey? Well, I started to learn feng shui to help my then husband, not the one I divorced, but another one along the way, to get his career back. And I ended up finding out I was a psychic and medium. So the direction the universe took me was completely different in my destination than I had originally considered. What I thought was one way, the universe goes, yeah, good for you. We wanted you to turn right.
We keep telling you.
We keep telling you. That's how this works. So taking care of your vehicle. If you want to build a field of dreams, then why not? So I've got 7 things to help you begin to build your dreams. And I'm not really telling you how to take care of your vehicle, but it is included. It's all part of this. But number 1, stop listening to naysayers, the critics, including your left brain that keeps telling you that you're not good enough, or, you keep bringing up what other people said. Those naysayers, throw them out. Get rid of them. This reminds me of, the stickers that are in cars. Someone buys a car and you have someone else's sticker on them. I want to go and just rip off those stickers.
Old stickers.
Especially if they're not my politically same one. Even if it's their sticker, I don't like those naysayers. Take that off. Begin thinking outside the box. Sometimes we get very fixated on the journey and where we want to end up. And just like I just shared, my journey ended up being so much more beautiful. It was a field of dreams, or it is a field of dreams more than I ever imagined. And getting out of that box of how it has to look is key. Find ways to become inspired. I think we forget how to get inspired, or we think that we have to inspire others. But I think filling our tank up, filling up our vehicle is inspiration. Take time to nurture your vehicle. Get it all cleaned, shinied up. Make it feel good.
Go get a wax.
Go get a wax wherever you need it. Get a wax.
There's so many metaphors here.
There is. Pay attention to your body and signs around you, and paying attention to your body. How does your body feel? We seem to ignore things. And I think sometimes as we get older, we're thinking all the aches and pains and we try to ignore them, and we take the Advil or Tylenol. But sometimes those aches and pains are really important messages, because it's like the car that we keep ignoring. You will break down somewhere and it will cost you more money in the long run. The signs around you, when you stop sometimes and smell the roses, they've said that for years, you will see signs that you didn't expect. And that's the beauty of being aware. Trust your gut or your engine. Your engine is that gut feeling, that knowing. And our gut, our body knows it. It doesn't feel right on some level, or it's excited. It has those butterflies. There's, wow, this feels amazing. Listen to that engine. Number 7, have fun along the way. No one wants to take a road trip without a little bit of fun along the way. And that might mean stop along the way, visit some sites, and create memories. If you put the metal to the pedal, as they say, and you just
pedal
try
to the metal,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If you do that and go really fast through life and expect to get to a destination, you're not going to really have a great story. There isn't going to be some experiences that bring you joy and happiness, and you have a life that's fulfilled that you can share with others.
I think that's the biggest thing that your students always say is, I forgot who I am. And I need to find my purpose and joy.
Yes, always. But we have to slow down, tap the brakes, pull over, take a few moments. We all have phones now. Take a few pictures and take care of that vehicle. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it inspired you. If you enjoyed our conversation, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified of new episodes. And let's get connected. Visit debshepard.com for more insights, support, workshops, and a book a session with me. And finally, always remember, your loved ones in spirit are just a thought away. Even though they're on the other side, they're always by your side.